Alrighty, good evening everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. Thanks for hanging on with me tonight for a very late night forecast update. It is 4 minutes shy of midnight Eastern time here on Valentine's Day going into Sunday morning. And you can see some snow moving our way, and it looks like it could be a snowy Sunday evening and Monday for us folks. So snow lovers, you will take heart with this. Now this system right up in here will be a very fast-moving clipper system, and I'll show you it on future radar here in a minute. That will be coming our way. Doesn't look overly impressive right now. All the pieces of the puzzle sort of separate here. Not impressive at all, but it certainly will be by the time tomorrow evening comes. Putting on our data right here just to show you kind of a thinking of where we're at right now. What you have is a low pressure that has developed over the Colorado area here. And, you know, from the modeling, really, the modeling has done funny things with this over the past few days. You know, it's not had a great handle on it. Sometimes it wants to develop the low down here. Sometimes it was up in here. Sometimes it was down in here. Of course, it all depended on where this trough dug into, and then, of course, how would that low track? Well, you know, some of the models had the low tracking way down south here into the Atlantic Ocean, but now that we've got it formed, we can actually see what it's going to do. There it is, and sort of the models, or the consensus is taking it more along this line, which would put a very favorable swath of accumulation for us here right over our area. Look at what the GFS does for it. There is that low pressure as it tracks sort of just right over us, and well, not right over us, but right north enough where we get into the all snow zone, and it looks like it could be a fairly decent little snowfall with this. So it's something that we're going to have to see. Let me put future radar here into motion, and you can get an idea of this. This is off of the latest high resolution NAM. Lead wave of some precipitation might come in tomorrow afternoon. We'll have to see. The NAM sometimes is a little off on timing, but here by tomorrow evening, we've got some snow moving into the area. And then take a look at this heavy snow down here for at least portions of the area and into Kentucky as well before it moves out on Monday afternoon. And so that would be sort of a one-shot deal with us with these systems. Doesn't look like it's going to be a two-part system. It's coming together as one part at this point. Talk about accumulation. Here is what the high-res NAM does with our snow totals, and impressive snow totals now for southern Indiana. And by the way, I should point this out. This is really important to note. These are all based on these snow maps on a 10-to-1 ratio. With the cold air firmly locked in place, there's no way we're going to be at a 10-to-1 ratio. In fact, ratios with this system could be as high as 20-to-1, which would double these snow totals if that were the case. My best bet would be to say we're going to be probably looking at more of a 15-to-1 to 21 ratio. So what you're going to do is need to take these totals and multiply them by about 1.5 or 2 times in order to get a reasonable representation of what the model is actually spitting out for us. That's the case. If we're talking 8 inches here, you can bump that up, those swaths, more to even a foot of snow. 1 inch bumps up to maybe a couple inches of snow, or 1.5 inches. So you can see still with this high pressure still way up to our north, and you can see a very sharp cutoff to where you get snow and no snow. But you can notice that the trend is certainly northward. Take a look with me here at some previous runs. This is the current run coming in, and I will say now the system is finally fully sampled. There it is. I showed you it out here. The system is finally into our upper air network now, completely onshore. So what we've got along with this you know, really is a good fully sampled storm now, and we didn't quite have that picture fully 100% sampled this morning, so keep that in mind. But here's what it showed now, the current run. Take a look at this. This is one run prior. This was run at 1 this afternoon. Notice how north this snow has jogged in one run. All right, take a look at the 12Z run this morning. This morning's runs, I thought this morning's runs were really funky and way off and didn't completely understand it anyway. But now you compare that to this, and of course it's a major northward jog with a lot higher snow totals for us over the area. That's a trend we're going to have to continue monitoring. GFS is now showing something very similar to the high resolution NAM, showing decent snow totals for us over here as well. Look at this. If you double these snow ratios, that could be 4 inches for Bloomington, 8 for the Huntingburg area, even 10 for the Evansville area, and another 8 or so here around the Louisville area. So again, that's assuming that these would be doubled because of the higher snow ratios. Even if you multiply them by 1.5. Heck, if you even left them alone where they're at right now, very decent snow totals for us. Take a look back in time at what the GFS has done here as well. Here's the current GFS. Here's this afternoon's run. Here's this morning's run. So you can see the trend on towards the north. Now let's look at the Canadian. Here's the latest Canadian run that's coming in. All right, very decent snow totals for us over here as well. And notice this, go back in time 1. Here's this morning's Canadian run, and you can see that northward jog in the Canadian as well. By the way, just for what it's worth, here's what the Euro had this morning. And of course, the Euro model, you know, it was considered the outlier, and a lot of the National Weather Service had basically thrown it out as the outlier. But you can see basically what's happening now is that everything else is now playing catch up to what the Euro had this morning. So this is a good thing. Right now, snow accumulation is looking very likely for us on Sunday night, and it could be some very decent snow totals. I do not have my own snow forecast totals mapped out yet. I'm going to wait for the morning runs to process tomorrow, probably before I get that out, most likely. Don't want to base it solely off of tonight's data, but it does look like it could be a very, very decent total. If I had to put some thoughts to this early on this, I would say we would probably pretty much a good chunk of the area would need to be going underneath of a winter storm warning for at least a 4 to 6 inch swath tomorrow, based on these early numbers. And of course, I think some people may end up a little bit less, some a little bit more. That's just kind of some early numbers. We'll fine tune those details a little bit more in the morning, folks. But right now, that's sort of where we stand. I'll have an update again, as I said, in the morning. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great night, folks. See you tomorrow.